Barrio, the word means the neighborhood, specifically the Mexican-American neighborhood. But to me, it means the residents, the churches, the schools, the parks, the good times, the fiestas, the great restaurants, real authentic Mexican food. If you want to go by textbook, well, it's a neighborhood. But in that neighborhood, from the railroad tracks to Ross Street, and from 3rd and Arthur to 27th and Arthur, Barrio is my family, my people. It's a time for us to all realize, hey, this is our community. We're responsible. We need to take care of it. We need to partner with the city and whoever's willing to invest in the neighborhood, not only for today, but for the future.
They started in early 2017 for that planning process and completed it in April 2018. So it's the second plan that the city and the county worked on together for the neighborhood planning effort.
And how important is it to have the county involved?
Very important. They were actually one of the initial partners that helped encourage the collaboration between the city and the county to do this neighborhood planning effort. So their participation is important just from a stakeholder involvement, but also from a funding standpoint, they contribute additional funds each year to go toward these planning efforts.
So it was a good 13 months of bringing residents and community people on that committee together to decide what's going to go in the plan. There are 19 goals and 36 strategies in this plan, and so now we're called the Barrio Neighborhood Planning Committee, or the BNPC, and we are implementing those goals and strategies.
First steps are usually just big picture discussion about the strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, threats. A SWOT analysis is what they call it. Really understanding where they see the neighborhood today, what the strengths are, what they'd like to see improved, and then you kind of grow from there as far as getting their thoughts of big ideas. We don't want to restrict them to, well, we don't have funding or we can't really prioritize this. We want whatever they can think of, dream big as far as what they want this neighborhood to look like. So that's really what they kind of focus on, those public meetings and with the advisory committee, really vetting those ideas, figuring out who needs to be involved in it, because it's not just a city plan. City's not going to be able to do everything in this plan, so it's a lot of citizen participation and involvement, and what can we all do to work on these goals together.
You can have a dream about something, but when it's in writing, then it's time to implement. And so it's been easier for us to be able to say, okay, this is goal number 7, and these are the strategies, and here's what we're going to do next. And so what we do is I call it 10 projects in motion. We keep 10 projects on the forefront to say, okay, this is what we're working on next. So one of those projects was the 10th Avenue mural with our historical sites for the Barrio side and then for Center City, and that was completed in July.
On the south side, basically it depicts the Barrio, our churches, the park, the community centers, and on the north side it pertains more to downtown Amarillo. If you're coming from downtown Amarillo east, we're welcoming you into the Barrio Neighborhood Committee. If you're leaving the neighborhood, heading towards downtown, we want you to be welcome to downtown. I think with the mural project, I think we've awakened a lot of people, and we're gonna bring the pride back.
It was a good visible thing to accomplish first. So I think they had well over 100 people attend the ribbon cutting for that. So it was something everybody's proud of and I think it'll spur more murals and more art projects throughout the neighborhood. That really checked off a few different boxes as far as getting public art to the neighborhood, working on a gateway, addressing the historic nature of it, because it's got historic buildings within the murals. So that one was really a low-hanging item that they wanted to try and get out there just so people could see stuff occurring in the neighborhood, because if you work on water lines or maybe do a sidewalk project, it doesn't have quite the impact as something like an art project. They've also wanted just people to learn more about the Barrio neighborhood, so they did a historic book, which is also a fundraiser to help pay for some of the neighborhood planning efforts. And most recently, they did a historic location map for the neighborhood, and actually did a contest where if you go visit those locations, you could enter to win prizes.
The Breakfast in the Barrio group, when they met in July of 2017, they made a list of needs for the barrio, and one of them was to record the history. And also, my husband and I were serving on the Barrio Neighborhood Committee, and in that, it was we needed to record the history. So when I was approached to head up a task force for this, we decided to call it the Amarillo Barrio Historical District, and I'd never written a book. Our task force members hadn't written a book. We had to think, who do we ask? Who are the early residents? Are they still living? Where are their relatives if they're not living? Which businesses and organizations and churches were truly involved in this neighborhood? Where are all the photos? In 1887, Amarillo was born. And then in 1889, there were two subdivisions. The Mirror Unit, which is actually where Sanborn Elementary is, that came about in 1889. In this book, out of the 15 early residents, 9 of them, their families worked for the railroad. And they talk about that. For example, our oldest person that we put in the book, Mateo Lopez, actually came here in 1921, and his cousins came also, and the Santa Fe brought them over legally to work on the railroad, and then he brought his family to be here, and his family remained here. His grandson, David Rosas, serves on our BMPC board today.
I grew up in the neighborhood. I grew up across the street from where we're sitting right now. And we're at the Alamo Community Center. My grandfather, Don Mateo Lopez, along with other men of the community, pulled together and built this building for the neighborhood to have a place to hold meetings, dances, community events. My father, my uncles, they took care of the building through the years, and it has been given to the community, and now it is a part of the Wesley Community Center, which was another big community center in this area.
The Wesley Community Center is one of our historical sites. The original Wesley was built in 1951. It was a house that had bedrooms in it, and they just worked on it and changed it up to be the center. This facility has been here since 1981. This center is just truly the heart of this neighborhood because it serves children from babies to elderly people. It has a senior citizens program, a daycare. Kids come here every day after school for their after-school program, various activities. They're doing a great job in just serving so many families here. Our oldest church is Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. It will be 101 years old in October of this year. It actually was the Sacred Heart Cathedral on 9th and Taylor, and then it was moved into the Barrio neighborhood, and then it was moved to its final destination on 11th and Houston Street. And they moved there in order to open in 1928 the school, the Catholic school. So a lot of our residents went to either Our Lady of Guadalupe, that would have been as early as 1928, or they went to Sanborn Elementary in 1922, or they went to Glenwood in 1921. Another school they went to, which is currently Region 16 Head Start, is the Dwight Morrow Elementary School. And that was built in 1930, and most Mexican students went there to that school. So Our Lady was first, and then it was 10th Avenue Methodist Church on 10th and Roberts, which is today Power Church. And that was actually built in 1928. But the windows in it, the stained glass windows, are from the late 1800s, around 1880, and it came from Polk Street Methodist Church. They donated glass windows to that.
We've always worked together. You know, most of the people here, while we may not be blood related, we share aunts and uncles. My friends and I, we may not be related, but we share an aunt, an uncle, a cousin. So it's a big family-oriented community. There's generations, you know, some of these houses and properties have been in the same families for 80 years.
Our oldest living resident is Mary Magdalena Martinez, and you may not know her name, but you may know La Frontera, because it's her family that actually opened up the Cuellar grocery store, which then became the Cuellar Grocery and Corn Tortilla Factory, which is today La Frontera Mexican Restaurant. And so it's been really neat to be able to see that. And in her case, 8 generations of her family have lived here.
This neighborhood was started more than 100 years ago, and I think it's just been, after everything was made and things were going, I don't think anybody's paid real attention to the condition of housing, lighting, streets, sidewalks. But it is something that every neighborhood needs.
It's from our history that we can really plan our future and look at what's been successful, what's been helpful, and then where do we go from here.
I think the community involvement's been great as far as this plan in particular. The committee really grabbed it by the reins and ran forward on it, not waiting for the city, not waiting for anybody. They just know we wanted to work on this historic book, we want to work on these fundraisers. It's important to have those neighborhood community members pushing these plans and keeping everybody focused on them. So I think that's been really good about this plan.
What did they tell you they don't like that they want to change?
Similar to what we hear in a lot of our older neighborhoods. It's the condition of housing or a variety of housing. In this neighborhood in particular, healthcare was one that they'd like to see more of as far as options for their residents. So something that came out of that was they organized free health clinics for healthcare and dental that they've held a few now and actually have a couple more for this year, that they're basically showing that there is a demand there for it, and hopefully that might encourage someone to open up a brick and mortar location in the future.
And we found that as a need in our plan. How many of our families were actually getting medical services? We're actually going to see their doctor, because in the barrio it's a 950 acres of land. However, there's only one medical facility in the entire barrio neighborhood. We are looking at a lighting project on 10th Avenue, which will run from Garfield to Ross. It'll be in 3 phases, so it'll run from Garfield to Cleveland, Cleveland to Roberts, and then Roberts to Ross. And what that will involve are new ADA sidewalks. It'll be trees, decorative lighting, and trees.
We've done some preliminary drafts of what a streetscape project might look like along 10th. Similar to downtown, where you have the trees and the pedestrian lights and the sidewalks. So that's been one project they wanted us to investigate further here in the future. And we've also looked at additional lighting for the underpass to help with the pedestrians and just lighting up that mural at night for people to see.
People will ask then, well, how are you going to fund that? Well, it'll be city and us as well, the BMPC. So our first fundraiser we did was the historical sites, and our second one will be the art show. And so we will, all proceeds from those will go to fund this lighting project. And that art show in from January 16th through 18th is really going to show people in any kind of art medium the historical sites and the historical people, the early residents. So there's stories with each one. From 10th, then we'll move to 3rd, then we'll move to Arthur, then we'll move to 27th, and then the west side of Ross.
Arthur Street, which is a very busy street and a main thoroughfare here in Amarillo, I'd like to see it dressed up, cleaned up. Arthur Street is important to us during them times when we hold our parades, as Polk Street is to the rest of the city. And I'd like to see it recognized. So
infrastructure is a major one that needs to be addressed. Lack of sidewalks, maybe the water lines aren't large enough if someone was to come in here and want to do a large multifamily development or redevelopment. So that's something we need to address. ADA accessibility related to those sidewalks. So that just comes with these older neighborhoods that back then we didn't have a requirement that each development had to come in and put sidewalks in.
Once the ball gets rolling, it never needs